Hello friends, welcome back to Invest with Ara. In today's video, we'll learn how to auto-save the pulled option data on an Excel workbook. Many of the users had this query on how to save option chain data of certain specific strike price. So today we'll understand that, and also we'll be automating the entire process, so a user does not have to be in front of the computer to copy the data onto an different Excel spreadsheet. So to begin with, first we need to understand few aspects of this program, that is the important points or the requirement of the program. Now for that we'll go to NSE India website and to the option chain data of Nifty. So now here you could see it's Nifty's option chain data available for 26 September 2019 expiry, and the underlying is at 11,274.20. okay, now because the underlying is at 11,274, we may consider 11,300 to be the ATM call or at the money call or put option. Now to make that program, we first need to define a range, like of till what strike price you need to have your data copied onto another Excel worksheet, so that you could do an analysis on that copied cells. So normally what I do is I prefer to take about 5 to 6 strike price above or below. So here if I take 11,300 to be the ATM or at the money call or put option, so 6 steps above and 6 steps below, so 11,250, 11,200, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 11,000 on the put side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11,550 or say 11,600 on the call side. So now what we have done is we have defined a range of which option chain values needs to be copied from the main sheet to another sheet. So please make this arrangement as per your requirement. If you want more than 6 strike price, you could go for that as well. Okay, now let's go to the Excel spreadsheet. The Excel spreadsheet in front of you is a simple program to pull option chain data of Nifty. Now we have already made such programs, and you could refer to my previous video if at all you are new to this section. So now when I click on pull option chain data or pull option data, Nifty's option chain data is copied. Now here for cost verification, we'll simply go to 11,300 LTP, which is 89.4 here, and here the 11,300 LTP is 89.4. so it's the option chain data is verified. Now what we need to do is, in my previous video I had given you many options to these values. Now you might have known about the dashes, which are actually 0. So I have given you that coding to to have it replaced with 0, so that the calculation becomes easier. In this program we don't require that. Why? Because we are actually considering a strike price which is near to the ATM. So most of the strike price near to the ATM will not have such dashes, so we don't need to have that arrangement done. Or further, we also don't need those sort of alignment which we had done earlier. Now the reason behind that is, like the option chain data that is being pulled has a systematic pulling format. So now whenever you pull that option chain data, you will see here that the entire option chain for any of the stock or index, the value starts from the row 11. Any option chain data, if you take Reliance also, the first value will start at row 11. So there is a specific format for this, and we don't want to disturb this format because we need to copy certain specific strike price. So for you it is important to not to disturb this pattern, which is in a natural form. Now our first part is done. Now likewise we said about having range defined. So above is 11,000, so we need to write it down certain things. So we'll be considering row 63 and column B. We'll be copying this values from B63 to say 11,600, that is V75. So we need to write down this V63 to V65. So this much of data is to be copied onto another sheet for further analysis. Okay, now click on this button here and a new sheet will be created. Simply name the sheet as copy here. Okay, so whatever data you want for further analysis will be copied onto this Excel spreadsheet. Now go to Nifty and from call open interest to put open interest, simply copy this, Control C and paste it here. Okay, now first part of our program is done. Now comes the coding for copying the specific cells to the new sheet from Nifty to this copy here sheet. Okay, so for that we'll go to developer tab and click on visual basic macro. So this is my macro for option pull-in. Now here you could see the refresh period that I have kept is for 5 minutes. Now here we need to define another macro, which is a macro for copying data. Okay, so please bear with me. So first is we'll define a macro called copy, and a macro is created. Now worksheets worksheets, I'll select the respective worksheet wherein the option chain data is copied to, and I'll select that particular sheet. Okay, again worksheets, again I'll take the respective sheets from which data is to be copied and click activate. So the sheet under consideration is Nifty. Now we need to define integer, so I'll define last row as integer. Okay, now what we need to do here is, so this is my sheet wherein I need data, like if I want to copy from B63 to this much, B63 to V75. So what I want the program to do is to simply copy this and paste it in the empty cell. So here the empty cell is row 2, so I'll simply put copy paste it here, and next time when the option chain data is refreshed, I want the program to again copy this value and paste it in the empty cell and not onto the cell that has already been copied. So I want the program to copy it here. So for that we need to make the program understand that what is the last row till beyond which there is no other data available. So here the last row is 27. So for this we'll have to give a coding here. Okay, so the coding is last row is equal to this workbook dot sheets. Okay, now where you need to copy the data to that sheet's name. Okay, dot cells and rows dot count comma 2, right, and dot end Excel up dot row. So this will actually make the program understand or give a value to the program that the last row beyond which there are no other values is that specific number. After that Now we need to copy certain values of certain specific strike price. So likewise I told you to write down the rows and columns number, the range that is to be fixed. So it is B3 to B75. So we'll simply go and type in here B63 to B75. Okay, now it will select this, and with copy it will, then I'll select the worksheet, copy here, and ask the program to copy it onto column A, but onto a specific row where no data are available. So and last row plus 1. So now what happens is, every time the macro searches for a row beyond which there is no other value and adds 1 to that number and copies the entire range from the previous sheet to the destination sheet. So I usually prefer to keep more than one row in between, so I'll rather put it as 3. So after every 3 rows it will be copied. Okay, so now again if you want this is not necessary, but if you want the program to be on a specific worksheet after copying, say if you want to be onto the worksheet copy here, so you need to put this coding here, and automatically every time the data is copied you will be placed onto copy here worksheet dot select. Okay, so here the coding for copy macro is done. Now we need to only check it. So what we'll do is simply go here. Now we don't need this actually, so we'll simply click delete. Okay, now we go up to options and we'll define a button here, alt. Okay, I'll assign the copy macro to it. Okay, COPY. Okay, now we need to check whether this data is being copied here or not. So option, I'll click on copy. It gives me an error, so I've missed a K here, so instead I'll put K. Okay, and press enter. Order. So it will automatically take the concerned coding. Now again stop it here. I click on copy. So here you could see simply clicking on copy, it copies it to the row 4. Now likewise I told you that the last row before copying this was this, and add 3 to that. So 1 plus 3 becomes 4, and on row 4 of column A the entire values are copied. Now again if I click on copy, again the last row was 16, to add plus 3, 17, 18 and 19, it is copied. So our copy macro is working fine. Now we don't need this actually, and now we want to automate this every 5 or 10 minutes, or every minute or every 3 minutes as per your desired time interval. So now we again go to the Visual Basic. Okay, now again enter, and we need to define another macro called a timer. I'll put it as timer timer. So another macro is created. Here it is simple, it is one line coding, but it is very important. So what we could do here is application dot on time now. So it will take the present time, and to add to that we'll have a time interval, time value, and this is minute, and this is second. Okay, and which macro do you actually want to run? Is the copy macro. So under inverted comma copy. Okay, so now the coding for timer is also done. You press enter, it's actually done. Now what we want to do is we want the timer to start the macro and copy it automatically. Now first we'll check the timer macro whether it's working or not. So we'll simply have this 30 seconds here. Okay, and we'll try to test it. So here we have nothing out here, and the first copying is to be done on row 4 of column A. So again I go to options sheet and put a tab here or a button, and I'll assign the macro timer to it. Okay, and simple timer. Okay, now we need to check that after 30 seconds it should start copying the entire values here. Okay, now I'll click on timer. Now after 30 seconds the values will be copied automatically to another sheet. We need to wait for 30 seconds. Normally 30 seconds will not fetch you good results, because for NSE website to itself put data online, it takes time. So now you could see after 30 seconds the data from here is copied over here. Now this macro ends here because it has already copied. So how does it work? I'll tell you. We actually made this macro run, and when the coding was on this line, it took 30 seconds of time and then went to the macro called copy and executed these codings for it, and both of the macro ended here. Okay, so what we need to do is we want it to be automated, so that every 30 seconds it copies their entire value. So what we could do here is we'll simply press enter here and put a word called timer. So what we are doing is we are again calling the macro timer within the copy macro. So now what happens is when we click on this macro to run the timer macro, after 30 seconds it goes to copy. So it selects the Nifty worksheet, activates it, and finds the last row on the copy here worksheet, and then copies the entire data onto that specific rows. And then when it comes here to timer, it again calls this macro and waits for another 30 seconds, and again after 30 seconds it goes to copy macro. So this is an indefinite loop. It will keep on running until or unless you manually break it off. So we'll first check it out. So now again we'll not be needing this, so we'll simply click delete, and now if we click on timer, there will be an automatic loop being generated, and it will not end until or unless you break it off. So first copying will be after 30 seconds, and then after 30 seconds there will be another copy and pasting done. So we only need to wait for 30 seconds. Now when I was talking about this timer thing, so I prefer to keep at least 5 minutes, so that you get ample amount of time to first to break the command. As like after 3 market hours, after 3:30, the macro will be pulling the same data again and again, and it will make the file too heavy. So instead of doing that, you could have that break command. one more reason to have 5 minutes is like whenever NSE India is pulling or putting data onto its website, it actually takes some time, and it is more than 3, and it's between 3 to 5 minutes. So it's better to have 5 minutes or more than 5 minutes, so that you don't get a repetitive data onto an Excel spreadsheet. So now here you could see every 30 seconds it is actually copying values. So now see, now it should copy value on 34. See, it copied. So now there is no end to this loop. So what we need to do is we need to go to the Visual Basic. You could do it from here, or you could simply go to Developer and Visual Basic and click on break. So now we have induced the break command, and now you will get an error that the macro cannot function in break mode. See, cannot execute code in break mode. So your macro has stopped. Okay, so this is one way of doing that. So what we have actually done is we have automated the entire process, and we don't need to keep our presence in front of the computer to make sure that the copying is done on it. Okay, now further going a step ahead, so we could also do one thing. If you don't want a specific range, or if you want only the ATM call to be copied, what you need to do is you need to only put this V69 to V69. So what I could do here is I'll simply go here and change the numbers to V69 to V69. So what it does is it will only copy the strike price of 11,300, and because it is only one cell, one row, so I don't want it to be copied after every 3 rows, or after skipping every 3 rows. So I'll simply put 1. Okay, and now when you have induced a break mode, you need to reset it. That is actually required for the macro to rerun. So here is the reset button. You simply click on reset, and now go to timer and click. Now every 30 seconds that specific cell will be copied one below the other. We actually need to have a lot of patience in this. Coding is all about patience. Now here you could see, if I click on double click, so here you could see 11,300 is copied, and after 30 seconds again 11,300 will be copied. The last so far it was 2, so plus 1, 3, so it will be copied here. Every 30 seconds the value will be copied. We'll wait for another 30 seconds, and that will actually conclude our video. See, another 30 seconds. Now again, to break this, go to Developer, go to Visual Basic and click on break, and it will definitely give you an error stating cannot work in break mode. See, cannot execute in break mode, so your program has actually stopped. Now this was for index, and if you want to go for another stock, so first thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to change the URL here. Okay, then the name, and then you'll have to go to Developer tab, Visual Basic. Okay, here you'll have to change the name of the respective sheet. So if you have Reliance, so you put Reliance here. Okay, the rest everything is same, but when you pull Reliance option chain data, you'll also have to change this value, because it is different for every stock or index. Okay, rest everything remains the same. You don't need to touch anything apart from all these values that has been stated. So it actually concludes our video. Hope you might have liked this video, and if you have liked this video, kindly like, share and subscribe. Also do let other retail traders know about these worksheets or these small tools and techniques, so that it could help them as well to be efficient in their trades. Thank you.